All right, so this is a very important topic, family. Very important topic. I want you guys to sit down, analyze this topic. Do me a favor and share this topic as well. Share this video with as many people as you possibly can. I'm going to break down from my perspective. All right. And I'm going to show you, primary evidence as to why the black woman has replaced roles with the black man. Okay. Again, this is a very important video. I meant to talk about this a while ago, but I'm going to break this down in this video. Okay. So, what I'm going to address first, family, is a story that came out of Chicago. I think a couple days ago, actually. And basically, there was a teenager, female, who was allegedly sexually assaulted and raped on Facebook Live by as many as six teenagers or six suspects. Okay. Now, they did not identify the actual or release the information regarding the victim, who is a teenager. She's a minor, but the mother is black. All right. So, assumingly, of course, she has a black teenage daughter, and no father is involved. So the father is out of the picture. All right. So this is a single mother raising her child. Okay. And again, she was allegedly sexually assaulted and raped on Facebook Live. And they say as many as 40 people watched the live stream. All right. And that's another problem, family. We have a problem with, of course, I mentioned social media is a part of the destruction of black society. Okay. And it is. Social media is a huge problem with black society because it is used in a negative light. It is used in destructive behavior, savage behavior, abhorrent behavior. All right. Obviously, this has to stop. Okay. You have your child who has a smartphone. To be honest with you, there's no reason for them to have a smartphone. Get them an old ass phone. That's not a smartphone, in my opinion. If you decide to give them a smartphone, make sure it's locked down to a T. All right. If they have something, there should be nothing that they have to hide. All right. You're their parent, so you should know every single app that they have. Inappropriate apps obviously get deleted. There is monitoring software for smartphones to keep track of the things that they look at and keep track of the things that they download and monitor. You're responsible as a parent to make sure that if you allow your child to have a cell phone, a smartphone, you monitor that thing to a T. All right. Again, there's nothing that they should be able to hide, et cetera, et cetera. But going back to the point about this story in Chicago about the teenager who was allegedly assaulted and raped on Facebook Live. Again, the mother is. I'm going to show you the video. The mother is black. She's African American, a single mother raising her child. All right, and this is a pattern and condition within black society many, many years. This goes back to the 60s, which I'm also going to parallel. All right, then I'm going to show you a document which I've talked about many a times. If you follow me for a long time, you probably know which document I'm going to refer to point out the discrepancies within black family structure. Because I've always talked about the black family structure has been on life support since the 1960s. All right, so I'm gonna get right into this story right now, family. I'm gonna switch my screen so you can see. All right, I'm gonna show you that later. I'm gonna go to this. Here we go. So this is the video. This is the news. The actual story. Police at least 40 people watched teen's sexual assault on Facebook Live. All right, here's the video I'm gonna play. All right. Facebook Live.
They was filming it on Facebook Live or what they was doing to her. It's like 5 or 6 guys. I didn't really want to look at it that much, but from what I saw, they were pouring stuff on her
Wow.
and just the way her face, she was so scared.
Wow.
They were pushing her head and doing everything.
Wow. No one called
There
the
were
police.
so many people that saw it and didn't pick up the phone and dial 911. That's just not right.
Well, here's the thing. It's not right, but it's not surprising either. We take our responsibility to keep us safe in Facebook. Yeah, it's not right. Of course, it's not right, but it's not surprising. You know, we not too long ago we had that incident where the group of teenagers or young adults, you know, they basically, I would say, sodomized, damn near sodomized, or damn near humiliated, or just humiliated, and assaulted this boy who had mental illnesses. It was, you know, remember the four suspects. It was two girls and two teenagers. That's a pattern and condition that continues to happen, where, you know, black society uses social media to glorify savage, wicked, abhorrent behavior, right? And that is a pattern and condition that has just, you know, continues to blossom within black society. Why is this happening is the question. Again, this goes back into the black family structure. You got to understand the psychological aspects, the, you know, the pathology of raising a child in a single parent household, right? Around poverty. This is the end result that you see. All right. Now, there was a comment. Someone laid a comment. I don't know which video it was, but someone said, "Well, you know, it's not guaranteed that a child will be successful in a two-parent household." Of course, that listen, of course, there's no guarantee. There's no guarantees in life. Period. No matter what you do, there's no guarantees in life at all. There's no guarantees in life regarding where you live. You can live in an affluent neighborhood with all the resources in the world. There's no guarantee that you'll make it out of there. But the fact remains that statistics say, this goes by numbers, all right, that when you live in an impoverished environment in a single parent household, you have more obstacles to overcome versus someone who lives in an affluent neighborhood who has all the resources that they need, right? And all the opportunities that they need. When you have more obstacles to overcome, right? That is a much harder path to gain the success that you need to succeed out of that particular area or neighborhood that you live, right? That's just common sense. Okay. So, family, again, this is a deep rooted issue within black society. The black family structure has been on life support since the 1960s, as I always say. I'm going to go into the article that I'm going to reference about the black family structure and why it has been on life support. But again, you know, this abhorrent, savage, wicked behavior that our children display themselves with is a pattern and condition because of the fact that basically babies are having babies. We know this. You know, children that are African American children that are being born, okay, over 70% are being born, all right, from non-marital status. Single mothers are giving birth to black babies, over 70%, not married. So when you have that particular feat, or when you have that particular issue, rather, within black society, that's another pattern. That is another negative effect that you have to overcome to raise that child in that environment, most like an impoverished environment, right? Crime, drugs, etc. Another huge feat you have to overcome to raise that child in that environment. And you have multiple patterns of children being raised around children, young mothers, you know, teenage mothers or mothers in their early 20s, right? When you're not financially and mentally equipped to deal with another human being to raise, that is a pattern and condition in black society that has been prevalent since the 1960s. And the percentage continues to rise. All right. Now, and I'm going to show you guys another video that is very, very important. Okay. This is a video from Alanya Van Zant from her show, Fix My Life. And they're going to show a segment, or this video is about a segment of a group of mothers, baby mothers rather, right? Who have children from one man. And this one man, and it says here, this man is 44 years old at the time. And this man has 34 children with 17 different women. Okay. And they're going to explain as to why they decided to stay with this man. I'm going to play the video right now to understand, again, the psychological aspects of why black women, all right, replace the black man as the head of the household. Why the roles have reversed. I'm going to play this clip so you get a better understanding.
Why did you stay?
The same reason, I think. Being alone. I didn't want to be alone.
Because if you were alone, what?
I would begin to think about things from the past or things that hurt me.
Such as?
Abandonment.
By?
By my dad.
Who's daddyless daughters? Raise your hand. Okay. First love left you, broke your heart. Abandonment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How many of us abandon ourselves?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I completely lost myself in that relationship.
Yeah.
And that's where the shame started.
In the relationship, no. Remember, the penis, the promise, the thing is here. What was in the chair with you when he showed up?
Mm-hmm.
What was in
I
the
was
chair?
missing companionship. I was missing that person that I thought I could be with, and this is my friend. This is the person that I'm going to spend some time with, that I really care about, who loves me, who listens to me, and we can do everything together. We can accomplish so many things together. Because at that time we were spending a lot of time together. We were moving around, just doing everything. And so
So the person that gave you companionship and the promise of a future.
Right. See, there you go. See, that's another pattern right there, family. Another pattern. Abandonment. See, the dominant white society knows, and I've always talked about this. People like Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, who believes in destroying black society. All right, this is documented. Look at her actual books. She says this. All right. But people like Margaret Sanger know and understand that to destroy the black family, you must destroy the head of the household, which is the black man. Take the black man out of the picture, the black family is destroyed. See, the dominant white society knows this. So that's where you see right there where the women are saying, once my father abandoned me, I felt empty. I felt there was a void that needed to be filled. So accepting a man to come into my life and to impregnate me with the child, you see, another reason why, right? When these black women who grow up with, without their fathers, or their fathers are not in their lives as much as they want them to be, there is a void that needs to be filled, right? And that void is someone else, a man or a child. So when a man comes in their life and impregnates them, right? Sometimes, if not most of the time, once that man impregnates them, that man is out of the picture. They're not going to be married. They're not going to stay together. He's not in their lives, right? But that child is still there. Okay? They're going to keep that child because that fills a void, or partially fills a void. Because, again, they feel empty. They feel lonely. And so raising that child, or raising multiple children as a single mother, that is the end result of replacing the black man, as the head of the household. So it's always been a role reversal since the 1960s. All right. And so let me go to the document that I wanted to talk about, family. All right. Let me go to this document real quick. Okay, here we go. So this is the document I always talk about, the Moynihan Report. All right, this is the Moynihan Report revisited. For those of you who don't know what this is, I'll briefly read to you what this is about. Okay, says few pieces of social science research have stirred us much controversy or had a great as an impact as 1965's The Negro Family: The Case for National Action. The U.S. Department of Labor report, more commonly referred to as the Moynihan Report, after its author Daniel Patrick Moynihan, focused on the deep roots of black poverty in the United States. Moynihan argued that the decline of black nuclear family would significantly impede blacks' progress towards economic and social equality. Over the ensuing decades, the report has been hailed by some as prophetic and derided by others as a classic example of blaming the victim. To this day, scholars and advocates concerned about poverty and economic opportunity continue to revisit the issue based on the Moynihan Report. All right. And, Moynihan was a PhD in a sociologist, and he was also, assistant secretary for the policy planning and research of the U.S. Department of Labor, among other things. Okay, so let me go back to this report, okay? Right here it says, over the past 5 decades, the statistics that so alarmed Moynihan in the 1960s have only grown worse, not only for blacks, but whites and Hispanics as well. But that's all true, but blacks have, I'm going to show you the chart, and you probably can see the chart right here. I'll talk about that in a minute. The share of white children born outside of marriage is about the same as the share of black children born outside of marriage in Moynihan's day. The percentage of black children born to unmarried mothers, in comparison, tripled between the early 1960s and 2009, remaining far higher than the percentage of white children born to unmarried mothers. Okay, so here's the graph right here. More children across racial groups are born outside of marriage now than in the 1960s. 73%, okay? Non-Hispanic black, right here, okay? Says in the early 1960s, about 20% of black children were born to unmarried mothers, compared with 2 to 3 of white children. By 2009, nearly 3/4 of black births and 3/10 of white births occurred outside of marriage. Hispanics fell between whites and blacks and followed the same rising trend. Okay. In 1960, 20% of black children lived with their mothers, but not their fathers. By 2010, 53% of all black children live in such families. The share of white children living with their mothers, but not their fathers, climbed from 6% in the 1960s to 20% in 2010. Again, Hispanics followed the same trend and fell between whites and blacks. The bulk of increase in the share of kids and mothers, no fathers, families occurred by 1990. The growth has largely moderated over the past 2 decades. All right. And I'm going to read to you also this. Single parenthood and perpetrating of the cycle of poverty. All right. I always mention poverty and, women raising their children under a single parent household. So it says single parent. Female-headed families are far more likely to be poor than other families. In 2010, about 9% of married couple families with children had incomes below the federal poverty level, which was about 22% for families of 4. In contrast, over 40% of single mother families with children were in poverty. Okay? Because black children are far more likely to reside in single mother families, their poverty rates far exceed those of white children. In 2010, as the United States reeled from the effects of the Great Recession, nearly 40% of black children lived in poverty, compared with about 13% of white children and 33% of Hispanic children. Poverty rates for children from all 3 groups were somewhat higher in 2010. They had been a decade earlier, but right in line What they had in 1980 and 1990, child poverty rates showed marked improvements during the 1960s. They fell through 67 to 43% for blacks, from 46 to 32% for Hispanics, and from 19 to 10% for whites. All right. So that's the gist of the article, family. And I'll have a link in the description so you can read this in entirety. You know, this report was revisited back in 2010, or actually, I'm sorry, back in 2013. So this was from the original Moynihan report, the Negro Family Report in 1965, right? And revisited back in 2013. And obviously, all of the percentages have skyrocketed. Okay. And so, again, like I said, the black family structure has been on life support since the 1960s. This is all what I always talk about. And if you follow me for any significant amount of time, you know I always talk about that. And I always reference this report. All right. So here's the thing, family. That's why I always advocate nation building. Nation building is not about joining, black rallies or Black Lives Matter rallies, or going to so-called conscious community lectures and Black Power lectures and Black Power events and all this other stuff. It's not about that. It's about starting your black family. Black man, black woman, and your children. All right? And raising that family is nation building. Coupled with the fact that you raise that particular family around a conducive environment. All right? Around a environment that has the resources that they need. Right? You're not around, a crime-riddled, drug-riddled neighborhood. You're around, a suburban area. That's what you want to raise your children in the right area. It's basically what I'm trying to say. Raise your children in the right area and nation build. Okay? Of course, nothing in life is guaranteed, but when you have a situation where you're raising your children in the right areas, they have less obstacles to overcome rather than, a black family living in poverty with drugs and violence, where there's shootouts and there's police sirens and etc. and around where they live on a consistent basis, and their children's life's in danger daily. Okay, that's way more obstacles to overcome than a black family living in a nice, affluent or suburban community, neighborhood, etc., right? So when you have that and you nation build, again, you have less obstacles to overcome with your children and your family, right? And the cycle of children that are being born in these situations is going to continue to happen unless we educate ourselves and empower ourselves about these issues that are affecting the destructive behavior, the abhorrent behavior, the savage behavior that our children are displaying on a daily basis by using social media as a vehicle to display this behavior. All right, they don't know and understand what they're doing, how it's impacting their life long term. They don't know. They don't have the wherewithal. They don't have the common sense to understand what they are doing to themselves that's going to impact their future. And our adult parents don't even understand that either, because again, it's a cycle. They were born in the same situation. So they have a child raising a child, right? They're a child raising a child, and they were not taught about the importance of a black family, the importance of raising your children around the right resources, around a right environment. Understanding that the environment that they live in is not conducive to empowering themselves or their children. They don't know and understand it, and that's a continuous cycle that has to be broken within black society. That's extremely important. All right, family? So those are my thoughts on that family, this is a topic I always talk about how important it is that the black family, right, needs to be the key tool for empowerment of black society. The black family is the starting point, is the focal point to empowering black society. If we raise our children around the right environment, around a black family, a two-parent household with the right resources, again, they have less obstacles to overcome growing up in that environment. Okay? And understanding that you raise your child with the right morals and principles, black empowerment, understanding how, important it is of education, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not going to tell you how to raise your child, but again, just the common sense tools to say that it is not conducive to raise your child around destructive, oppressive people. It is not conducive to raise your child around drugs and violence. And again, when you're raised around those kind of environments, it's almost as that black folks are immune to that. So when they raise their children around those circumstances, it's almost like, like I said, they're immune to that. And then there's some cases where, in most cases actually, that the black woman who raised their children in poverty don't have the right resources, don't know how to get out of poverty. And therefore, we need to have programs to assist these single parents, these single mothers who are raising their children, all right, in these areas, to empower themselves, to get out of that area, to better themselves, and then get with the black man, or, get with a person that is going to help raise their children in a two-parent household. That's the end result. All right, family? So, like I said, those are my thoughts on that. And again, like I said, this is a topic that is extremely important that I wanted to talk about. I'm going to also do another video regarding tools that I think are helpful for black society in raising families. All right, I'm gonna just give out some resources and things of that nature that I think are going to be very helpful for black families or single parents raising their children, et cetera, et cetera. All right, family. So anyway, leave your comments down below about this topic. All right, I know I have a lot of women who are subscribed to my channel. If you're a parent, a single parent, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think about this topic. I like to hear your story. I like to read your story, rather. I want to read it. I like to read your story and see, what your thoughts about this topic is. And just to share your comments, family. All right. So until next time, Chauncey, a.k.a. the Black Separatist, signing out. Peace.